Original post, March 20, 2024. So, my 16 mil mom, 40s female, is a teacher at my school. Our school has a special elective you can take, which is being a teacher's aide during your elective period. It's mostly stuff like grading papers for them, making copies, mentoring, and stuff like that. It's pretty much always just the teacher's favorite student at the time. I found out at the beginning of the semester that my mom chose Dave, 17 mil, to be her TA. Dave has made my life a living nightmare since middle school. He has bullied me mercilessly both physically and emotionally since 6th grade. I don't want to get into everything he's done to me, but everyone is fully aware of it, including the school and my parents. There have been countless meetings with school administration and suspensions on his end, but it never stopped him. Since we've been in high school I haven't had to see him as much, which is a relief, but the times that I do are always terrible. When I found out that he was her new TA, I was obviously very hurt and confused. I asked her why would she want to spend extra time with someone who made my life so terrible. She said that she had him in one of her classes and that he really isn't such a bad kid, but he has a really terrible home life that she can't tell me about that makes him act out. For the record, my mom has always had a soft spot for kids who come from bad homes. I reminded her of all the things he had done to me, and she said that she understands but he really needs help right now. I told her I get that, but why does it have to be you? We have a huge school full of teachers and staff who can mentor him. Why does it have to be you? She told me to stop being selfish and some kids have it harder than I can imagine and she's just trying to help. I was honest with her and told her that if she continued to have him as her aide, she was dead to me. She was choosing him over me, and she would no longer be my mother. I would no longer talk to her and the minute I turned 18, I was moving out and she would never hear from me again. She rolled her eyes and said I was being dramatic, but after a couple of days of ignoring her, I was grounded. It didn't change my mind and my dad then tried to force me to talk to her. I still refused, so they pretty much took everything away from me one by one for the past few weeks. I no longer have my car, computer, guitar, and most recently my art supplies, and I have to come home from school and go straight to my room and am not allowed out except for dinner until I start talking to her again. They don't realize that this is just strengthening my resolve. I'm going to sit in this empty room every day silently until I'm 18 and they'll never see me again. My mom keeps coming and crying and begging me to talk to her, which makes me feel kind of bad, but she still won't remove Dave as her aide. Am I taking this too far? I just feel so betrayed. Edit. I'm sorry I stopped answering everyone's questions. I just kind of freaked out when this blew up out of nowhere and I almost deleted it a few times because I was scared someone at school would see it and recognize me. Everyone letting me know that it's not my fault helped a lot though, so I felt less embarrassed about someone I know potentially seeing it. Nothing has really changed, but a lot of you made a good point that if I'm really going to go this route, then I need to come up with a plan for what I'm going to do when I get out. I considered the military like some people suggested, but then I remembered my school has a special trade program. You go to our school for half a day, then spend the other half at our local community college taking trade classes. I think depending on what you are doing you can get an associate's degree or whatever certifications you need by the time you graduate. I went to my guidance counselor during lunch today and told her I wanted to switch to that program. She acted really surprised and asked why I wanted to change now since I'm already taking AP classes and am on the college track. I told her I didn't want to talk about it, but I would need to be ready for independence when I graduated, and this seemed like the best way. She said it might be too late to change this semester, but she would look into it for me and let me know. Relevant comments. Comment 1. Since the school already knows about the problem, have you considered talking to a trusted teacher or guidance counselor? I realize that these are her colleagues, however, I think they might be able to talk some sense into her. Her failing you reflects not only her inability to be a good parent, but also on the skills she needs as a teacher. I don't think you should suffer in silence. Shame her if you have to. OP, she got one of my teachers to pull me aside and try to convince me to forgive her. He said all that crap about only having one mom and whatnot. When he stopped talking, I asked if he was done and just left the classroom. As for other teachers, I don't really know who I could talk to. I'm a pretty quiet person and don't really form any close bonds with any of my teachers like some kids do. Comment 2, it seems like your mother, rather than helping him improve, is learning how to bully you. Is your father not seeing the damage being done to your family by all this? Why is he okay with her being TA for your bully, and is it more important than your well-being? It seems like they have more empathy towards that bully but not their own son. Frankly, if I could, I would surely go no contact with such parents. They already know what they are doing is wrong, but their superiority complex won't let them admit it. I don't think writing a letter will help your cause. OP, my dad is kind of in the middle. He understands why I'm upset but thinks I'm taking it too far by refusing to talk to her. I know he's tried talking my mom into dropping Dave, but I think he just thinks it would be easier to control me than her. Relevant comments. Comment 1. I find it ironic that your parents not only chose your bully over your well-being but also perpetuate the bullying. They are being bullies for punishing you for disagreeing. Comment 2. I'm sure Dave has a rough life, but it doesn't excuse his cruelty towards you. I would be extremely hurt if my mom sided with my bully. Your mom should ask one of her colleagues to take him on as an aide and then tell Dave that, given his prior history with you, it is no longer appropriate for him to be her aide. Update 1, March 25, 2024. To everyone who said my mom was sleeping with Dave, you were right. Just kidding, y'all are weirdos and watch too much adult entertainment. A lot has actually happened since last week, and while nothing is really fixed, I think things are going in the right direction. On Friday I got called out of class to the guidance counselor. When I got there, my mom and the assistant principal were there as well. The counselor asked me to sit down and said that me changing tracks from college to trade, like I mentioned in my last post, was a big decision, and she wanted to sit down with my mom and me to figure out if this really was the best for my future. She first asked me if I would fully explain why I wanted to switch. I explained the whole situation from my perspective and about how I was being punished. I said that if this is how I was going to be treated from now on, I wanted to become independent as soon as possible, and going to college would have me relying on my parents for longer than I would like. She then asked my mom if she had anything she would like to add. My mom tried to downplay the whole situation at first and make it look like I was just being stubborn and disrespectful, but as the counselor asked her more questions, it became pretty clear that my side was truth. After this, the assistant principal stepped in and said that a teacher's aide was not worth all of this turmoil and that Dave would be switched with another teacher. The counselor then asked me if this would help me to start working things out with my mom. I said not really, because it wasn't even her choice, and she hasn't even admitted she's done anything wrong. She then asked my mom if she was willing to apologize for anything that had happened. My mom gave a half-hearted apology where she said things had gone overboard and she never meant to hurt me so much. The counselor asked if I would like to apologize for anything as well, and I said not really, but nobody pressed me on it. The counselor then said about my transfer, it was too late for this semester. What she suggested is that my mom and I and possibly my dad should go to a family counselor for the rest of the semester. I would stay in my current classes, my parents would give me all my stuff back, and we could see if we can come to some kind of peace before next semester. She then asked my mom that if after that, I still had not changed my mind, would she accept the class changes. My mom said no at first because she wanted me to go to college, but I told her that she had already failed me as a mother once, please don't do it again. She got really quiet and said she would agree to it if that was what I really wanted. When I got home, all my stuff was returned to me. I also started talking to my mom again. I just kind of felt like there wasn't a point to ignoring her anymore. I don't treat her like a mother or anything anymore, but I'll answer her if she asks me a question. It just feels like that now that I have a plan. A lot of my anger is gone and I just see her as a person who happens to live in my house. We haven't scheduled our first counseling session yet, but I don't see it changing much anyway. The damage is done, so I don't see myself changing my mind. That's pretty much it. I probably won't update again unless something crazy happens or something. Thank you to everyone who gave me good advice. Relevant comments. Comment 1, update us when you graduate, or let us know how the trade route goes, or update us once you finish the semester. We're all here cheering you on. Honestly, I'm glad that you got your stuff back. But it's wild to me that it took your assistant principal saying, "WTF, this isn't worth it," to switch out Dave. I think your plan is good. The fact that your mom hasn't apologized speaks volumes. I won't count the half-assed apology. Comment 2, wow. That is a kick-ass counselor. I am impressed. Like. Dang, I have to be the adult here, really? So, Mom, you are wrong. You were supposed to be a professional and you had to disappoint your own kid? Gross. You are off. Hey kid with potential, have your stuff back and please be a better person than your mom. Like me. LOL. Op, thanks for the update. I wish your mom was smarter. Your school counselor is awesome. By far, the best I ever heard of. And you should stick with your plans. I don't think there will be a counselor in college to put your parents in their places. I have read too many stories of parents threatening to not pay for their kids' college. If you cut their wings sooner, perhaps you won't have to endure Thanksgiving, Christmas, and birthdays being trapped with their plans. Comment 3, I'm so sorry your mother isn't capable of seeing how she's hurting you. But at least it's a change for the better. Story 2, Am I the asshole for refusing to respond to my sister? Original post, March 10, 2024. I, male 24, recently did a DNA and ancestry test. I won't name the brand because I don't want this to seem like an ad. I was adopted by my parents when I was 7 years old. I don't really remember much, if anything, of my life prior to being adopted. But I know that I was neglected, to say the least. Just to put that context out there. I've never really had intentions of meeting my biological family. I've always thought they obviously didn't care about me, so why should I waste time caring for them? When I did the DNA test, I knew there was a chance that I would be matched with a close genetic relation. But I never had any intention of messaging with any of them. Even though my parents have been supportive of me finding a connection to my bio family. Anyway, the DNA test came back a few days ago and I matched with someone who apparently is my biological half-sister. She sent me a long message explaining that she's been searching for me for a while, and she would love to speak and help me build a picture of my biological family. She said that she lived with me and my dad, who was her stepdad, and our mom when I was young. She was 7 years older than me, and when I was removed into foster care she moved in with her dad. I read the message, but I haven't responded. And in all honesty, I don't plan to. It's nice that I know someone's out there who cares for me, but I still don't want anything to do with my bio family. My brother Oliver, who is also adopted, says that I am being selfish by not responding. He says I should think about what my sister might be thinking, but I don't think he understands since he has always kept a link to his bio family. We ended up getting into a huge, stupid, argument over it. And he says that if I wasn't going to respond I shouldn't have even done the test because now it just gives my sister false hope. I told him he didn't understand what I was going through because he never lost connection with his bio fam. And he said I'm an idiot for thinking that. We were both probably equally rude. I'm not trying to paint him as a bad person. We had a dumb fight. So, am I the asshole for refusing to respond to my sister? Relevant comments. Comment 1, not the asshole. Your feelings about your family connections are exactly that, yours. If you are not ready to be in contact with your half-sister, that's fine. Maybe you will someday, but it's ultimately your choice. Your brother has no business pushing you. OP, thanks. I genuinely think my brother doesn't understand how stressful it is because he has always had that link to his bio family. Comment 2, not the asshole, but I don't know why you'd make your info publicly available if you weren't planning to respond to anyone. OP, pretty sure the one I used said I couldn't see my matches unless I was public. I guess I was curious as to if I had any matches that were close. My other sibling did one and the closest he had was a third cousin, so in all honesty it was a mixture of I was curious and not expecting anyone to be closely related to me. Comment 3, not the asshole, you don't have to respond. From my understanding, you're a bit indifferent or unbothered by the news? If you think you can manage your emotions no problem, then acknowledging the message, explaining your stance, and wishing her well could provide her a lot of peace with minimal effort on your part. If it is emotional to reply, sending a message to provide her some closure would be a kind and selfless act. She might not have found a good family like you did. OP, well, I never knew I had any biological siblings. In fact, I thought I didn't. In some ways, I don't want any ties to my biological family. Because they gave me up, I had a mother who wouldn't protect me from my father. I ended up in a loving family, with parents who care for me and siblings who I know and care for. In some ways, I want to entirely leave any ties to my biological family behind. I don't feel any ties to them, and I don't think I want to. I get that it could be difficult for her, but I don't know. Messaging feels like I am reinforcing a connection that I don't even want to exist. Update 1, March 14, 2024, 4 days later. Thank you all for sharing your points of view. I read almost all of the comments and appreciate all the advice and kind words most people sent out. I decided in the end to take the advice of most of you and send a message to my sister which said, "Hello. Thank you for reaching out and I appreciate you sharing that you have been searching for me. As you know, I was taken into foster care at age 5, which I don't remember much about. I was adopted by my mom and dad when I was 7 years old into a loving family. I have been cared for greatly by them and love them with all my heart. I have been to university and have graduated with a first-class honors degree in education and am currently working as a teacher. Although I appreciate you reaching out, I am not currently looking for any connection to my biological relatives at this time. I just wanted to send this message to let you know I am well and have had a happy life being part of my new family. Best of wishes." I think that message is alright and makes it clear I am not looking for any connection. She has read the message but has not responded, although I don't expect her to. Thank you all again for your advice and help with dealing with this stressful situation. Edit. She just sent me a really nice message back, so I'm glad that I provided closure for her. Even though finding out I have a bio sister has been stressful and something I never expected. In some ways, it's been nice finding out. Relevant comments. Comment 1. What exactly did she say? If you don't mind sharing. OP, I don't mind, but I'm going to rewrite it and take out some personal information. But the gist is the exact same. Hope that's okay. Hello. It is so great to hear from you and I am so pleased to hear how well you've gotten on. I completely understand and respect your decision about contacting your biological family. I also went to the same university. But I imagine a few years before you did. It makes me so happy to know you've found an amazing family who was able to love you in the way that you deserve to be loved. I just wish I was able to be part of that life also. I got married last year and have a 2-year-old son. I hope one day you will feel open to meeting him, although he's young. I've told him about you and how we used to play peanut butter dog. Do you even remember that? Sending all my love. I have no clue what peanut butter dog is or what that means, so don't ask me lol. Comment 2, did you make up with your brother? OP, yeah, we argue a lot but we never stay mad. Update 2, March 25, 2024, 11 days later. I can't remember if I chose a fake name for my sister, but now it shall be Jess. Also, I am a man, and use he/him pronouns. Firstly, I want to clear up a few things and comment on some comments I had on my past posts. Question: why did you do the test if you didn't want any matches? Answer: this will seem confusing to most people, it is confusing to me as well. I never expected to get any close matches. And if I did get close matches, I didn't expect them to care enough to message me. I was also curious about what I would find and perhaps in some ways I was hoping someone would reach out to me. I feel in some ways I was failed by social services because I was always told when I was taken into care none of my family put up any fight to get me back, or fight to have any contact with me. I was never informed I had a sister, and no one ever tried to arrange contact between my sister and me. Before I did the test, I didn't remember I had a sister. Question: were you abused? Was Jess a perpetrator? Answer: I can't remember much beyond flashes of my childhood. This is likely because of the abuse I endured. Both Jess and I were abused as children. I saw a few people try to insinuate that Jess was an abuser. No, she wasn't, and I really don't like people trying to insinuate that, even though in those comments the people were defending me. We were both victims. Please though don't ask questions about the abuse because I really don't like talking about it. It's weird for me that I'm even talking this openly about it. But it was every type of abuse, and for context, my social worker placed on the report that it was one of the most severe cases she had seen in her career. As I said, I don't remember it. But I have read all my case files. Question: couldn't you see it's selfish for you not to respond to Jess? Answer: in short, no, I couldn't. At the time of me writing the original post, I was in full-blown trauma mode. And even when I posted the update 4 days later, I wasn't fully out of it, and am probably not fully out of it at the time of me writing this update either. But honestly, I don't know if I'm ever fully out of trauma mode. Part of my trauma response is I can't fully see the perspective of other people, and I definitely couldn't see the perspective of Jess at that point. Also, maybe going off on a tangent here, but I also feel like sometimes my attempts at humor are taken wrongly. Like there was a comment on the last post saying I feel so bad for Jess. And I responded, damn, feel sorry for me or something, and people responded by calling me selfish. That was my attempt at a joke. I don't know though, lol. Now this is the part you probably are most interested in. Jess and I have been speaking more since I sent that first message. We have exchanged phone numbers and have been communicating a lot since we matched. I've seen pictures of my nephew and Jess has seen pictures of my siblings. We have been speaking more and more. But don't yet have any plans to meet IRL. She wanted to, but I don't feel ready. Jess has helped me piece together a lot of stuff about my life prior to being adopted. As I said, a lot of it, I don't remember. But also, there have been points where I've had to say, right, I don't want to or can't deal with any more of this. Let's move on to something different, which has been difficult for Jess as it seems a lot of what she wants to talk about is what happened to us. Some people also seem to think that only I was abused. No, as I mentioned, Jess was also. Even though I was the main target, scapegoat maybe, I don't know, of the abuse when we were children, Jess was still abused. And sadly, for her, it didn't stop when we were removed. She was removed to her bio father's house, but he wasn't exactly kind to her either, from what she's told me. Whereas I was lucky to have been adopted into a loving family who have always cared for and supported me. In a lot of ways Jess had to do everything herself and always has. And finally, people in the replies trying to diagnose me with / speculate about conditions / mental health issues I have, could you not do that? It's weird. I'm tired of writing now, so I'm going to stop. If you have anything else you want to say, feel free to leave it in the replies, but be kind. I'm glad OP decided to reach out, although I do see why he didn't want to. Hopefully they can get some sort of closure out of this or comfort out of this. That's it for this video. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.